This video is going to show you how to complete page 145 out of your math book. It says determine the surface area of the right prisms. And what they mean by right prisms is that they're prisms and they contain a right angle in them, okay? So to find surface area, you have to add up the areas of each face of the 3D figures, okay? So find the area of this side, that back side, that top, and then the base. Find the areas of each one of those faces, add them together, and you'll get your total surface area for that problem, okay? All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start off with finding just the area of this triangle right here. So area of the top and then that base of the triangle. And the area of a triangle is 1/2 base times height, but I want the top and bottom. So since this top is the same dimensions as the bottom, I'm going to multiply that by 2, okay? So the base times the height, let's see here, got 8 times 15. And we got to take half of that, and we got to multiply that by 2 because there's this one and there's this one. So I see everything in here is multiplication, and when you're multiplying, you can switch the order as much as you want as long as you maintain the signs in front of them. And I see that they're all positive, so this is going to be pretty easy for me. What I see right here is, well, 2 times 1/2. Well, 2 times 1 is 2. 1 times 2 is 2. And then I have to go 8 times 15. Well, isn't 2 divided by 2 1? So it's really 1 times 8 times 15. And 8 times 15 is 120 feet squared for that area of this and this. Okay? Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and find the area of this front piece right here. And it appears, just looking at the dimensions, it's 15 by 20, so it's a rectangle. I'm going to color code this so you'll know, hopefully, what I'm talking about, what I'm referencing. Area of the front, and that's just length times width. And you'll notice I'm not going to multiply that by 2 because that on the back right there, it's got different dimensions, and this right here on the side has different dimensions. So don't multiply it by 2. You only multiply it by 2 if there are 2 of the faces that are exactly the same, okay? So don't get tricked right there. So length times width, or you could say base times height. Let's see, 15 times 20. And 15 times 20 is 300 feet squared. And what I need to be doing is I need to circle these because I know at the very end I'm going to need to add them together, because surface area is when you add up all the areas of each one of the sides of that 3D figure. So got this side, got the top and the bottom. Now I need, let's go ahead and go with this right hand side right there. I'll shade that in green. So I'm going to write it over here. Area of that right side. And I'm looking at the dimensions here. Yeah, it's going to be a rectangle, so it's like 8 times 20. Times width, so 8 times 20. 8 times 20 is 160. It's going to be feet squared because that's how we're labeling it. So that side's taken care of. And again, I didn't multiply that by 2 because there's no other side that's exactly the same dimensions as that. Okay, now comes the back side. So like, it's kind of really hard to see on a flat picture, but it's the back side, okay? Back. And it's going to be brown. Area of back side. Okay, and again, it's a rectangle, so length times width, or base times height. And its dimensions are 17 by 20. 17 feet by 20 feet. Okay, and when I go 17 times 20, that is 340 feet squared. Okay, let's double check to make sure we got all the sides of this triangular prism accounted for. So we got that one, yep, we're good. So now to find the total surface area, you've got to add all of those together. Total surface area, I'm going to abbreviate, that means surface area, of triangular prism equals, so I'm going to go 300 plus 120 plus 160 plus 340, and that's going to give me a total of 900, hold on, yeah, 920 feet squared. Okay, after we added all those together, plus that, this, and this, okay? The next problem requires us to find the surface area of a trapezoidal prism. So again, when you find surface area of a three-dimensional figure, you need to take the areas of each one of those faces and add them all together, okay? And a part that might be tricky is this trapezoid face right here, this trapezoid-shaped face. You probably don't know the actual formula to figure out the area of a trapezoid, but you do know how to find the area of a rectangular square and triangles. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and divide this up into. So I'm just going to draw a line right down there, and you'll see that I have a triangle. And draw a line right down there, and I'm going to have another triangle, okay? So we can go ahead and make this more easy on ourselves by just breaking it up that way. So to find the area of this face right here of the trapezoid, I'm going to start off with those triangles. Okay, there's one right here, and you know there's also one back here that matches that, and one back there. So total, I'm seeing that there are 4 right triangles. We got to find the area of them. So I'm just going to write down area of the 4 triangles. Well, area of one triangle is 1/2 base times height, or you can go base times height divided by 2. And how many of them are there? There's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 of them, so that's why I'm going to multiply it by 4, okay? So I'm going to substitute values in, keep the 4, keep the 1/2. Well, the base of the triangle, let's see here. This is going to require some thought because the entire length right here is, it appears to be 10 yards, but from here to here, what would that be? Or from here to here, what would that be? So to figure that out, I know that from here to here is 4 yards. So I need 6 more yards to get to 10. So 4 plus 6 is 10. So if this plus this has to equal 6 yards, then the distance from there to there is 3 yards, and from here to here is 3 yards. Okay? So again, 1/2 base times height. So base is 3. The height is 4. Okay? Did you follow that? I know this is 3 yards because the whole thing was 10. This is 4. 10 minus 4 is 6. There's 6 more yards to account for. And since they're the same, they're congruent, I went 6 divided by 2 to get 3 yards here and 3 yards right there. Okay? So the area of this triangle, this triangle, this triangle, and this triangle is going to be, when I add them all together, because I'm multiplying them by 4, half of 4 is 2, 2 times 3 is 6. Their areas all together is 24 yards squared, okay? Just one of them is 6 yards squared, but since there are 4 of them, that is why I multiplied them by 4. Now the next areas I'm going to find are these little square pieces of that trapezoid, and there's one right there and then one in the back right there, okay? Area of the 2 squares in the trapezoids. Okay, and it's not 10 yards there, remember, that's from here to here. It's only 4 yards by 4 yards. So 4 times 4, because length times width. And remember, there's 2 of them. So that's going to multiply it by 2. So we have it's 2 times 16. 2 times 16 is 32 yards squared. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and find the area of this right here, this rectangle. And remember, it's going to be the same as on the other side. So areas of the 2 green sides. If you didn't use the color green, then you need to call it something else, okay? And it's length times width But remember, you have to multiply it by 2 because there's this guy that's congruent to it, okay? So 2 times 15 times 5. And that would give us 2 times, oh, my pen's dying, 75. 2 times 75 is going to give us 150 yards squared. It's a 150, okay? Now the next little side that I'm going to go ahead and find the area of is that top part. And it is not congruent to the base because you'll see the base is much wider, okay? And I'm not going to multiply that by 2 simply because it's not congruent to the bottom. It's not equal to the bottom. So its dimensions are 4 yards by 15. And 4 times 15 is 60 yards squared. Alright, last but not least is that base. Okay, that base down there, and it's a rectangular base. This is area of base, okay? Again, it's length times width. We're not going to multiply by 2 because there's not a second side that's congruent to it. So it's 15 by, that whole thing right there is 10. And that gives us 150 yards squared, okay? Alright, to find the entire total surface area of this triangular prism, we're going to add all of the surface areas together. And you would get 24 plus 32 plus 60 plus 150 plus 150. That is 416 yards squared as your, oops, that says yards squared, as your solution.